thank you all for being here. Today is a day of gratitude and celebration. Obviously for Officer Wilt and his family, we want to thank them. And they've been just phenomenal with our staff. All of our staff in all of our institutions that had a chance to meet them and talk to them, even through what they have been dealing with, have always commented how much this family meant to the people that got to work with them. And so I want to thank that family. And I want to thank our teams. You know, one of the things that when we started U of L Health many years ago, one of the ideas you had is the ability to have a hospital that was more than just a single place, which is what University Hospital was for such a long time. And Officer Wilt is the epitome of what we could become. He was cared for at University Hospital, obviously, with our neurosurgeons following the shooting. For a period of time, he was cared for here in one of our ICUs for some of his lung issues. He was cared for again as he completed his care back at University Hospital. And then his life touched Frazier Rehabilitation Institute, which has brought him to where we are today. So to all the staff that touched him, I want to say thank you. You are what we wanted to be many years ago. You know, today is a step forward. I think that's the important part. In some ways, it's the end of the beginning of all of this. It never really ends, is what I tell people when they go through this. It never kind of stops. But this is the end of that very first phase, as Officer Wilt gets a chance to go home and join his family. And, you know, I thank, you know, everyone for the remarkable recovery that he's had. As we look forward to him going home, we've got a few people that are joining us today. Obviously, Mayor Greenberg is here. Jim Ryan, CEO of Old National Bank. Police Chief Gwen Bellario is here as well. And then Dr. Daryl Kalin is with us. He's our medical director here at the Frazier Rehabilitation Institute. I also want to thank Dr. Ding. I want to thank Ken Marshall. Ken Marshall is the COO of our healthcare system. I want to thank John Walsh, who's our CEO here at Jewish Hospital, and then Dan Hudson, who's our CEO here at Frazier Rehabilitation Institute. But I think the most important people to talk today are going to be Officer Wilt and his family. And so with that, I'd like to introduce Zach Wilt. Zach Wilt is his brother, and he wants to say a few words from the family. Zach.
All right, thank you, Dr. Smith. So this is the first time we're speaking out as a family, and I do thank everybody for being here. Thank all the doctors, the police, everybody who has been in the community who have been truly amazing to us. I do first want to acknowledge the families that don't get to have a press conference today for their loved ones. It breaks our heart every day knowing that there are people hurting still, and two of them reached out to us this morning, still praying for us, and we're praying for them. That said, Frazier Rehab, everybody, the U of L Hospital, Jewish Hospital, the staff from everybody has been truly amazing to our family, and nothing short of a miracle work they do with Nick, with taking care of our family. I mean, we were secondary to Nick, but the hospital treated us like we were primary with Nick, which we couldn't have asked for better accommodations. That said, because of the work they did, we get to take our brother home today. Nick gets to go home today, sleep in his own bed with his own TV, and he's been asking for a steak dinner for a couple weeks now, and you bet we're going to get him a steak dinner tonight. With the progress that Nick's made, they tell us it's a long road, it's a marathon, but Nick, every single day, has been ready to go. Just a few days ago, one of the therapists told us she's been pulling teeth to get people out of bed, to get people to do what they need to do to heal. And those people have only been here for a few weeks. Nick has been here now 2 months. He's in his chair ready to go, and out the door he goes with the therapist, and that's just the type of person. And he'll probably be embarrassed that I say this, but his little catchphrase when we wheel him out of his room, he goes, "Let's boogie woogie." Like he's ready to go. And that's just his mentality. He is ready to go. He wants to get back to it. He was a 26-year-old, very active, helping young man, and he is going to get back to that. It's just he knows he's got a long road ahead of him. with the help of Dr. Kalin and everybody here, he is going to get back to it. And he knows he is, and he's putting in the work in every day to get to it. Our family could not be more thankful for everybody. And with that, I will introduce. I got you. Him.
Thank you, Zach. So thank you, Zach. I think, this is one of those things that's the best part of this, is getting a chance to watch one of your patients go home. And I say from all of us, you're still part of the family. So you'll be with us forever, both in our hearts, but also we're going to be seeing him because he still gets to come back and deal with all of our physical therapists who are going to be whooping on him for a little while. So, but I think the important part of this is to have the chance for the people of this community to talk. And so representing them is going to be Mayor Greenberg to say a few words about the community and about what's going on. So Mayor Greenberg. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. 109 days ago, our city witnessed a tragic act of violence. We lost Josh Barrick, Deanna Eckert, Juliana Farmer, Jim Tutt Jr., and my close friend, Tommy Elliott. 109 days ago, our city also witnessed heroic acts of courage and bravery and service. Officers Wilt and Galloway and so many others from LMPD, EMS, and other agencies. All of these fine, dedicated public servants were emotionally and mentally wounded that day during their call of duty. Officer Nick Wilt also suffered serious physical injuries. So 109 days after this tragedy, we are here today to celebrate progress and people, to celebrate Officer Wilt's bravery and service, his survival and his fight, to celebrate his mom, Jennifer, his brother, Zach, who you just heard from, and his other brother, and the rest of his family who have supported him with love and commitment every moment of every day since April 10th. We are here to celebrate the medical professionals who saved so many lives on April 10th, including that of Officer Nick Wilt. Thank you, Dr. Smith, to all of your colleagues, to all of the doctors, the nurses, the medical staff here at U of L Healthcare, to EMS, to the dispatchers, to our 911 call takers, and every member of LMPD. Thank you. Thank you for what you did on April 10th, and thank you all for what you do every day. And we're also here to celebrate the survivors of the Old National Bank tragedy. Jim, thanks to you and your team for everything you have done to help your colleagues at Old National Bank heal and what you have done to help others in this community. I will never forget on that tragic day, the highlight of that day for me, if that's the wrong word, but if there were a positive moment that day, it was when I was right here at U of L Hospital, and we had gotten conflicting reports of another one of my good friends, the CEO of Old National Bank here in Louisville, Dennis Heischman. At that moment, later in the morning after the massacre, I didn't know if Dennis was alive or dead. And when I literally turned a corner here at U of L Hospital and I saw Dennis there, that was the highlight of my day. To see that while I had just gotten the news that I had lost a close friend, to see that another one had survived. And so Dennis, that was the only positive part of that day. And thank you to you and your leadership, to your support for all of the local Old National Bank's employees and families who lost loved ones and who survived. We know the journey is just beginning, but we will be here to continue to provide support to you and all of your colleagues in the weeks and months ahead. But there is reason to celebrate today, and so I'm happy to be here to celebrate the progress Officer Wilt has made. To know how far he has come that you just heard about from his brother and Dr. Smith. That's a reflection of his great care that he has received and his own grit and determination and fight. I'm so excited that he gets to go home, that he can continue to become more active every day, to watch even more episodes of his favorite show, Bar Rescue. I hope I don't get in trouble for saying that, Zach. And I just want to say to Officer Wilt, the whole city is behind you. We are here to support you and your family in any way we can, and we are here for you. And finally, a message to the entire city. While we are celebrating Officer Wilt's continued recovery today, let's also never forget. Let's never forget the names of those who died on April 10th at Old National Bank. Let's never forget the names of those who died on April 15th at Chickasaw Park. Let's never forget the names and the lives lost from every murder in our city this year and in years past. And to those who have survived gun violence and continue to suffer and move forward with their life. Let's never forget, and let's take action together. Let's fight to protect officers like Officer Wilt, who work every day to save others. Let's fight to protect every child, every son and daughter across our city from the fear of gun violence. And let's fight together to make gun violence a plague of the past. And while we're doing that, let's all remember to continue to support Officer Wilt, his family, the hardworking men and women of LMPD, and everyone else who is working to keep our city safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And, Old National Bank has actually been a great partner for this community for a long time. And they've been a partner with here at U of L Health. And while it's not exactly how we imagined being able to support you, it's been wonderful to be able to interact with you and your staff and hopefully begin the healing process from all of this. So I'd like to introduce Jim Ryan to take a few moments to talk from Old National Bank. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Good morning. I am so incredibly grateful for this opportunity to speak on behalf of our entire Old National family. Words cannot adequately express our gratitude and relief that Officer Wilt is finally able to return home. As I stand here before you, our prayers have been answered. And you can be assured that our O&B family will continue to lift Officer Wilt and his loved ones up in prayer as he continues to recover. Words also fail to adequately convey how grateful we are to Officer Wilt and the entire Louisville Metro Police Department for putting their lives on the line in service of others. The heroism and selflessness of Officer Wilt and those who rapidly and fearlessly responded the morning of April 10th is beyond comprehension. We also owe the amazing medical teams at the University of Louisville Hospital, Jewish Hospital, and the Frazier Rehabilitation Institute a debt of gratitude. Thank you for your amazing care you provided Officer Wilt and to the members of our O&B family, as well as the life-saving care you provide on a daily basis to so many others. I also want to acknowledge the Mayor's office and the entire community of Louisville. You have wrapped your arms around everyone who has been impacted by this event, and the profound outpouring of love, care, and support has been instrumental in helping us grieve those who we've lost while also lifting up and supporting those who are still healing. Finally, to the family and friends of Officer Wilt, please know that our O&B family will never forget the sacrifices made on our behalf. I will never forget. Our Louisville team will never forget. Our entire organization will never forget. Officer Wilt is a hero in every sense of the word. And I'm humbled to be among those here today to celebrate this huge step forward on his path to recovery. Let's all do our part to honor him by loving one another more fully, caring for one another more completely, and supporting one another to the very best of our ability. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hunt. Thank you. One of the worst things when you lead a team that works together as hard as, a trauma team or the police do is to hear that some of your people have been hurt. Chief Gwen Valario managed the situation as best that she could ever have been asked to do during that time. And she led the police through one of the most difficult times that I can remember in this city. So with that, I'd like to invite her to say a few words if she would like.
I'm so grateful and humbled that we are here today to celebrate our brother in blue, Officer Wilt, coming home. Thank you to Officer Galloway. Thank you to all of the other officers who I consider my hero. Thank you to all of the other first responders, both state, local, and federal. I appreciate you. Thank you to our emergency services individuals, our dispatchers who gets that call and they hear the distress and direct us accordingly. I say thank you. On behalf of LMPD and on behalf of the Wilt family and everyone that is here to see a miracle leave this hospital, I would like to say again, I appreciate all the love, the support, the outpouring of gratitude towards us. Your prayers were needed and your prayers were welcomed. I appreciate all of the families that were directly impacted, that still stayed connected with LMPD and offered their support. But as we are celebrating one of our own coming out of this hospital, I want to take a moment to speak to every police officer across the nation, everyone that is hearing my voice today. I want to encourage you to stay in the fight and do the great work because there are countless individuals that need our help. They're depending on us. And I'm asking you to take joy today and have pride that our brother in blue is coming home.
You've seen me stand up here before and represent multiple different specialties, nurses, physicians, respiratory therapists, physical therapists. You've seen me represent this hospital system through multiple different times. And I think my words to everyone that would hear this today is that we're a team. You see me standing up here, but I represent thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that work every day to try and save lives, not just of Officer Wilt, but for anyone who comes through our doors. That's our mission. That's what we do. That's what University of Louisville Hospital does. That's what Jewish Hospital does. And that's what Frazier Rehabilitation Institute does. When you step through and you start to put on this coat or you put on scrubs or you step through the doors of a hospital, sometimes it's hard to imagine what your day is going to be like. And you sometimes see people in some of the worst situations they can be in. And your job is to offer a caring hug, a hand to hold, support and care for the individual, but also support and care for the families and the community around them. Sometimes that gets lost. You see, oftentimes you focus on the one person or the one individual, and you lose in that what it means to be part of what we are, to be part of this team. And Officer Wilt doesn't leave this hospital today without a team. Officer Wilt doesn't leave University Hospital without a team. No one person does anything. And so to everyone who's at U of L Health and to everyone who focuses in trauma or rehab or neurosurgery or any of the people that have touched Officer Wilt, I want to say thank you. It's a hard job sometimes, but that's why we do this. And you celebrate the moments like today where all of that teamwork and everything we do pay off. I think oftentimes we also don't recognize when you see me up here for trauma how many different specialties back us up. And one of the specialties that does that is our rehabilitation medicine program here, who does a phenomenal job of, for lack of a better term, picking up the pieces. You know, we save a life and we provide that patient to them. And then they oftentimes get the hard job of rebuilding that life and trying to get them back to their families, to home, where they can have steak and potato dinner tonight, which I may be joining them if that's the direction we're going. So I want to say thank you to the rehabilitation folks who oftentimes don't get thanked enough for the wonderful work they do. So I'd like to introduce Dr. Kalen to have him come up for a moment and talk and update everyone on Officer Wilt as well as what they're doing today.
I'm honored to be part of that team, and I'm honored to make a few final summarizing statements as Officer Wilt's rehabilitation physician over the last several weeks. We are here today, and the fact that we are celebrating this milestone in Nick Wilt's recovery is a testimony to three primary things. First and foremost, to the incredible will to survive and to recover that Officer Wilt has, and his desire to regain his life, and to the love and the support of his family, especially his mother Jen, his brothers Alex and Zach, who have been by his side literally every moment of his recovery. It's been really wonderful to watch and great to be a part of that. And to the many officers who have continued to lift him up and to boost his morale. And to the community today who has in fact wrapped their arms around Nick and really are excited today to see this hero go home. Secondly, to the amazing work of the trauma and neurosurgery team at the University of Louisville. They literally saved his life. The city of Louisville should really be proud to have such an outstanding facility and such outstanding physicians in this community. Ones that have taught so many other practicing physicians throughout this city and who are bringing on the next generation of physicians to come. So thank you to them. And lastly, I am very proud of the world-class medical and rehabilitation care here at the Frazier Rehabilitation Institute, where Nick has spent his last several weeks working hard to regain his consciousness, his ability to speak, to swallow, to take care of himself, to stand, and yes, even to start walking. There are very few programs in the country like ours who can take care of an individual with such severe traumatic brain injuries and help him to achieve the progress that he has made. This is a true tribute to his interdisciplinary rehabilitation team that includes physicians, rehabilitation nurses, physical, occupational, speech therapist, psychologist, pulmonary rehabilitation specialists, nutrition specialist, and chaplaincy. Together, we have created an environment in which he could put the work in and make the progress that he's made. So as I like to say, we create little miracles every day, and we certainly are witnessing that today. Yes, there remains work in the weeks and months ahead, but I have no doubt that Officer Nick Wilt will continue to make great strides, and the University of Louisville Health will be happy to be part of that.
Can you speak to the long-term prognosis for Officer Wilt?
Well, as mentioned, Officer Wilt's injury was a severe injury. He is making a remarkable recovery for the extent of the injury he had. And may I answer that question by saying that, as was mentioned before, many individuals who were not hurt on the job, who have injuries like his, are not offered the opportunity to come to places like Frazier Rehab in our program because of the way the healthcare system and insurance is set up. So we're very thankful that we had the opportunity to take care of him and others like him. Having said that, his long-term prognosis is very good. And I would tell you that I think over the weeks and months to come, he is going to become more and more independent. I truly believe that there is no limits to the potential of what he can achieve, and I would put no restrictions on his ability. I think we need to have hope, and we have to be aspire to greater things, and this guy works. This guy has the desire to get better, and his family supports him in that role. Having said that, there will probably be long-term deficits. Will he be back to 100%? Probably not. Will he be at a level that if you met him, you knew he had a brain injury? Maybe not, but there might be some signs and symptoms that he can tell and others can tell that are not the way he was before. But that doesn't in any way say that he has not made a remarkable recovery so far, and that he won't for the months and even years to come. Usually over the next 2 years, we'll see the majority of the recovery, but if he keeps working, I think we'll see a lot of improvement for a long time.
Have you had any discussions with Officer Wilt about a possible future in the department, what that might look like?
I'm just grateful that he is so resilient in trying to get better. And so we have not had any discussions because, again, I'm just focusing on his health. I came to see him yesterday, and the highlight of that day for me yesterday is when we were getting ready to leave, he shook my hand and he said, "Thanks, Chief." Never thought that I would be able to hear those words. And so that's my focus, that he'll continue to make great strides, and whatever his future holds, LMPD is going to be right here to navigate that with him.
Chief David Mattingly from Wake News. What could you tell us about your impressions of Officer Wilt, his character, and the family behind him?
They're strong. I want to classify them like they have a pit bull mentality. I mean, they are just aggressive in their need and their desire to get better. But that also too comes with the medical professional staff that they have encountered who pushes them and cheers them on. It comes from LMPD, really supporting them so that all of their needs were being taken care of. They are a praying family. They truly are a loving, close-knit family. And I believe that is the reason why Nick is doing so well. His mom, she's one of those, she don't take no for an answer. And so I think she told me she doesn't take no for an answer, right? So with that comes with what you're seeing today. And they're a great family.
A lot of people may not know that we have some incredible work happening in this building in terms of some of these games when you're talking about function. There's people upstairs that are paralyzed, that are learning how to walk again. So maybe talk about just kind of, you never want to say lucky in this situation, but in terms of the nation, this is a pretty incredible place to be receiving this type of care.
Well, you're a walking advertisement. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm proud to say that. I grew up in Louisville, grew up in St. Matthews, trained here at the University of Louisville. I left and was gone for 20 years. I came back in 2011 because I recognized how special this place was. I recognized the potential it had, and I recognized that it could be considered among the best in the country, if not in the world. And I think over the last decade, we have moved well on our way to accomplishing that. And yes, the technology, the research, the things that we're doing here at the Frazier Rehabilitation Institute are recognized all over the world as being among the best. We have people upstairs who were not moving, who are now moving, people who are not walking, who are now walking. And that's why I don't put anything past Nick Wilt, and that I believe we have the skill set among all the rehabilitation team to provide him with what he needs in order to not only survive and get better, but to thrive and hopefully get back his life.